There's one
It's
that's
really
a
a
little
bummer.
lower down.
Just feeling all bummed out if you have to abandon it too.
Yeah. And you're like, there's no strategic reason why I'm doing this. Like, if it was faster to retry once, it's faster to retry until I get it. So it's just a complete, like, just mental decision of I don't want to do this anymore.
Right, it's never faster to change your mind and go the other way. It's always faster to keep doing this. It's only a point of, where does your confidence give out and where do you decide,
Yes.
okay, I'm never going to get this, so forget it.
So he's picking up the reflex spell now. Picked up the upstab in the house. He had to go down the chimney. Pulled out the kidnapped kid he picked up on Maze Island out of his pack. Hopefully his face isn't purple. But anyway, now has the reflex spell, so he can now beat Palace 4.
Come on, encounter skip. Oh, he gets some not very favorable spawns. Decides he's going to go into this encounter and do the bubbles plus Octoroks instead of sitting there trying to trigger the next monster encounter, which would be faster, but again, it's a matter of how much time do you really want to budget to this versus just moving on to something that's a sure bet. And he gets a nice, easy first try encounter skip for the second one. So here he's got a long walk through the forest that he's got to deal with. He seems to know the strats, and he's going to get the next set right now. And normally people would pause buffer right at the moment that second set of monsters appeared to try to read which way they're going to go. But it looks like he missed the spot.
Kingdahl having the trolliest slimes ever, using the beam sword to shoo them off the ledge. But they just don't want to go anywhere, just hanging out just outside of beam sword range, waiting. So troublesome.
And Solefad managed to get through the rest of that without any more encounters, so he's in good shape now entering Maze Island.
Maze Island, there's many paths you can go, but most of them lead to forced encounter tiles. So usually taking the longest route is the best route. It also leads you to that magic container. We'll see how Kingdahl does his digging.
How's he going to get out of this?
No, he's
He
going
can
to take some
still
hits
get
from
out.
these things.
But
He can't cast jump. There we go. It's kind of tricky when you don't get the block digging right. So I've seen some players just chew their way out through the left side instead of trying to go back out the top once it goes badly.
it's just frustrating all around.
Yeah, it sure
But
is.
he made it out.
Yep, made it out.
He did get banged up, though. That low health situation is going to affect how he goes through the rest of these rooms here until he gets an opportunity to fix that.
Well,
Or maybe
I think
he's just going to
the
straight
Doom
up
Knocker
die.
fixes it for him.
Now you got all kinds of health and magic.
Oh, Solefad coming into Palace 4 here. There's two things to do in Palace 4. This branch point that you see, you can go left or right. He goes right, and that's the way to get to the boots, which is the item in this palace. He'll be back there again, going left next time, in order to get to Carrick. But first, boots. Boots are a sequence item. It lets you walk on water in certain water tiles, not all of them. Oh goodness, Kingdahl having a bit of a trouble there. But yeah, so he's gonna... At this point, we'll have to see how many deaths he's going to take. There are 3 places in this dungeon where you can take intentional deaths. It will save you time. In a PB attempt, most players will go for all 3 of those, but in races, we've seen anywhere from 0 to 3 deaths in these areas, so we'll see what he does.
Might depend on how many red jars he gets, because at 2 of the death spots, there's a potential for a red jar in the statue.
See if he gets it. He does. He's excited. He does not take the death there because he has his magic refilled. This is probably the most optional of the deaths. Nice fight there from Kingdahl. He managed to... Didn't quite get the downstab strats to work, but he managed to finish that Iron Knuckle off
Yeah,
the
cleaned him up
normal
really
way.
good. I really like the no death strat from Solefad. He's got way too much of a lead to save 10 seconds,
10 seconds, yeah.
over that buffer against a game over that will cost him minutes.
There's a decent chance that he watched the end of the last race too.
Well, Solefad almost ran into some big problems there with another unintentional death, but he managed to just barely get through that. Now I wonder if we're going to start to see some death abuses here.
I'd be pretty surprised if it didn't just death abuse right here.
Yep.
His magic is low, he did fairy at the boots. If he wasn't going to death abuse, you probably would have just seen him pick up the boots without using the fairy spell.
Yep, and he's casting jump, so he's down. He's all out of magic, so he's going to have to either do it here or the next one. If I were to do him, I would do it here and then just try to be really thrifty with magic for the rest of this palace.
And this is the one statue where you can't get a jar at all, so being that low on magic at that point is just... With that many lives, probably okay to take a death.
Let's see if he does this room correctly. Yep. You got to be very careful with your jumps and always do them in the same spot because you don't want to have one of those heads spawn while you're in the middle of a jump because then you'll get a high spawn instead of a low spawn. We've seen that really trip up a few players. It's a very tricky room, a deceptively tricky room. It doesn't look like much, but we have seen a couple of deaths there in races.
Yeah, once one spawns high, you need to jump again to dodge that one, and you spawn another one even higher, and then all of a sudden there's an undodgeable pattern, and the bridge behind you is breaking.
It's gone.
You can imagine
Yeah.
how it goes real bad, real fast.
So the best way to do that last room was to make sure you do not hit the one of those heads with an accidental down stab. Because if you get them split apart, you're basically casting fairy to save yourself, or you're probably going to die.
Solefad is moving pretty confidently here. Just in general, his play, his movement, his decision making, it's all pretty much on point with a couple of small mistakes, and that's to be expected. It is a race, so I'm liking the way he's performing here.
Kingdahl is taking the scenic route through Firetown. Fastest way out of Firetown after picking up fire is to go to the right, but he's starting to go a couple extra screens to the left.
He might have watched Bad Breaks' race earlier and gotten the wrong impression about which way to leave this town. Solefad using jump to get that key. That's the one thing that you sort of need upstab for, except that you don't really, because it's possible to glitch into that ceiling and break one of those blocks from the side instead of with upstab. So that's why you don't see upstab in any category of this game other than 100% or 100% all keys.
Yeah, though we did see Solefad put it to pretty good use against one of the Doom Knockers on the bridge. As he was running towards it, it jumped, and he was actually able to react and decide the best thing to do is to run under him and upstab, and it worked out really well.
You see a slight alternative strat here from Kingdahl. He's actually going for the 1-up on the way into Maze Island here. Just doing that to reset the monster counters and monster timer so that he doesn't get another encounter here. And here we have the third and final room for Solefad. He's, I think we said that it was possible he wasn't going to take a death here, but given what his magic situation is, he's got to get a red jar or take a death, and he didn't try for the red jar. So I guess he's confident enough that he wants to save that 10 seconds of death warping instead of going for the red jar there. We see
Or
most
maybe
players try.
like the health refill as well. Like if he casts life to refill it, then maybe he doesn't get shield on the boss. I don't know.
I'm not sure. That would be close. He could definitely have cast Reflect, but he might not have had shield for the boss if he had cast life there and gotten a red jar.
It's one of those decisions that, I mean, you have some time to make it, but if you're not really using that time to make the decision, and then all of a sudden you have to make the decision, you take a look at all those empty boxes up top, and it's just feels, right to just go ahead and dive in there.
And Reflected Magic 3 costs 5 bars of magic, so he did having... After casting Jump, he would have needed a red jar.
Well, Kingdahl having quite a hard time with some of those random encounters, but he does manage to get encounter skip. Oh, here we go. Solefad's about to do Carrick. Let's see how this goes. We've seen some terrible Carrick fights today, and it's not the player's fault. This is completely random boss. Wow, Solefad has
perhaps
Wow.
the best pattern ever.
Yes, that's maybe the best Carrick fight I've seen in this tournament.
I think there was one missed shot.
Yep, I think he only missed one beam. That was very good. Equip Fairy. He's not going to do it, he can't hear me.
So that really works, because even I didn't know that.
It totally works. Yep, you get to save that, save that half a second to a second that it takes to go into the menu.
No wonder I'm still third.
Ah, Kingdahl not trying for the super jump. Here's something we haven't seen anybody do, have we?
Just
this
first
thing
try, go to the
properly.
rooftops.
Just go straight to the rooftops, not even
Yeah.
trying for the rooftop jump.
He's going old
Might
school.
be, yeah. Well, it might be one of those things where like you're a newer player and you just see someone do this weird clip into the roof, and you try it once or twice, and you think like this is
How does this
probably a
work?
little advanced.
Yeah.
And so you just say, screw it, I'll just jump on the rooftops the normal way. Whereas if he had spent like maybe 5 more minutes on it, he probably would have seen like, you know what, this is kind of doable.
Right here, we're seeing the second required use of Fairy. The last 2 required uses are going to be in Palace 6.
Yeah, required to use it here, and then also required to backtrack for that key, because the fairy cannot pick up the key. She's a little too tiny little fairy arms. Can't carry that thing. They can carry all sorts of other heavy things, but not keys, apparently.
Also took special care to not get hit by any of the skull bubbles. They don't do very much damage, but they will steal your magic, and there's a jump cast that he needs to use very quickly, which takes up 2 bars of magic, that if he had a bar of magic drained, he'd have a fun time getting the next key.
Yep, he could probably afford to get hit once by it, but a second time and he would be in trouble, I think.
Heck, even with the jump spell, you have a fun time grabbing this next key.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
see what happens. This room, the falling block patterns are random. He needs to get at least 2 of them stacked up with a running jump, preferably 3. If he wants a little cushion of safety, he's going to wait for 3. He's not even going for it. He gets 4. That's plenty. Now if he can get out without getting too trolled. There we
All right,
go.
not bad. He was played it a little safe, but
He played it pretty safe, that's true. And Kingdahl managing to get the first of the encounter skips on his way out of Reflect Town. Let's see if he gets the second one.
He missed it the first time, but
Oh, okay, yeah. He missed it the first time, but he gets it the second time, and he gets the second one first try, so he's in good shape. Let's see if he knows the monster manipulation for the overworld. Nope, he's just going to go for it, charge right in, and get encounters right away.
so I don't know if we've actually talked about how the monsters even spawn on the overworld. So there's 2 sets of counters for getting a spawn on the overworld. One is a timed encounter, which starting at 3 seconds, then every 8 seconds afterward, you'll get a encounter to spawn. And then in every section of Hyrule except the northwest section, every 16 steps you take will spawn an encounter.
looked like Solefad there. I guess because he took Magic 4, he's already had 1 Mago kill, and he opted to actually stop and pick up a second there.
Yeah, Magic 4 should be fine. He came in here with Magic 3, right? And then took Magic
Yes.
4? Yeah, so with that leveling, you need to get at least 1 bit of extra experience from something, or you need to kill one of the optional blue iron knuckles that you would normally skip. So either a 200 bag drop, a Mago kill, or an iron knuckle.
He only needs to reach 700 experience to get the full bonus. So he is more than fine in experience, unless he happens to take like 5.
Nice move there with the jackhammer on the blue iron knuckle straight into the fairy cast to avoid the item pickup animation. He seems to be, still playing strong here, showing no signs of slowing down.
Yep, he plays like I would expect someone with the 124 PP to play. He's a lot of confidence. He certainly knows the strats. I've seen him do, or at least attempt to do, all of the manipulations. I mean, he clearly knows what to do. Generally, we see people above 130 for PB. They're just learning. They don't really know all the right moves. Once you get under 130, between 120 and 130, that's really where you're starting to learn all the proper routes for things, and then under 120 is when you've really perfected it. So he's right there in the middle, more towards the perfected it side. Kingdahl trying pretty hard to get a life refill by coaxing a red jar out of this first statue, but it's just saying no over and over again.
He's getting the MOA kills, though,
yeah,
farming
eventually.
all that 50 experience.
Yeah,
Eventually he'll take life
5
5 from all the experience.
Right.
This is the 50-50 shot, by the way, so he is now
That
over
was
6 and
number
getting
6.
his desired drop.
Yeah, he finally gets it the 7th
And then he
time around.
gets 2 jars.
Now he gets
Nice.
2! Oh my gosh, the universe is just
When it
laughing
rains,
at
it
him.
pours. What is 6 in a row? Is what, 50, 25?
I think I would have left the statue one out of spite.
It's like
But
a
64.
1.25% chance or something of that.
1 in 64 chance to miss it 6 times in a row.
And then add the odds of the jar drop timing at the same time too.
Yeah.
Perfect comedic moment there. Thanks so much for that, Solefad. Oh, he's chasing this thing down.
He forgot that he already
He
did
went the
this.
wrong
Oh.
way.
Oh, he went the wrong way. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, he's
That's not
confusing with
one
the
you
next
can-
elevator.
If he goes down that one, goes all the way to the left, you can find a hidden jar, but you don't get anything else.
It's just an empty key room. It's something that looks like it should be a key room, but there's nothing in it, huh?
Yep. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
how
there's
is
actually
five?
a jar hidden in the blocks right above where the key would be.
That sounds right. But yeah, I think he just confused it for this elevator.
Right.
Yeah. Also, speaking of confusion, I don't want to create any. It was Kingdahl there who put on the show for us, not Solefad.
Oh, sorry if I said Solefad. My bad.
No, I did.
Okay.
Kingdahl doesn't want anything to do with that Doom Knocker, just cast Fairy.
Guess he's planning on at least one death here.
Well, if you don't happen to kill that Doom Knocker in that room, it's really easy to die to him on the way back, so I don't necessarily blame him.
Going for that red jar. Good move to come into Guma with everything available to you. He is most likely going to cast the shield spell, and I think he would still have enough to cast the life spell on top of that. Oh, he's going back for it just in case.
It definitely does now.
Yeah, now he certainly does. But yeah, he would have had enough either way. Let's see if we see a jackhammer. I don't know what we're going to see here. Oh yeah,
He thought about it.
he started to do it.
Yeah, it glides right through his hitbox there. Once, twice, just kind of sweeping it through him, the figure 8 pattern there. Gets him down pretty good there.
Still a
we've
pretty
seen-
good fight.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We've seen really good Guma fights today. Actually, particularly Bad Breaks, who did like a full jackhammer kill, pretty much. Maybe like one last hit to finish him off.
Was that Bad Breaks who did it?
I think
did
it was.
Somebody completely rocked the jackhammer today.
Yeah.
Solefad now going for the heart container, and we are going to see, well, we talk about this every time, but we're going to see what we call the river dance, which is a technique for avoiding these monsters. Let's see, we'll have to let him take his level ups first. He's waiting at the edge of the screen so he doesn't accidentally soft lock. If you go off the screen at the very same frame that you're getting a level up, the game will freeze. And that means race over because your save file does not save your progress. Uh-oh, Kingdahl's running into that exact situation that we were talking about.
Yep, there it is.
Got a little bit out of sync, and then he got a high head spawn and nowhere to turn around. Okay, but on Solefad's screen, we saw him take 2 extra steps. Now he's going to walk down into the grass here right before the town. There it goes. That gets those monsters to spawn in a spot where you can dodge them, and the next set of monsters doesn't spawn because of the extra steps and things that he took there. And does he get the fence skip? He does.
He does.
Nice.
Looked for a moment like it wasn't going to happen, but it worked.
I was watching Kingdahl there. He's had some close calls. Not just that bridge here.
I was about to say he was handling it better than he did in Palace 3, but... You've got upstab! Use the good effect.
You don't. There are so few cases where it's useful that I think a lot of players just kind of forget it's there to a certain degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here we have a tough monster manipulation. Solefad goes 2 squares into the swamp. Pause buffer. Oh, he doesn't pause buffer. He probably should have stopped pause buffer right there before he hit those monsters. And you have a pretty good chance of being able to dodge that second set. Now he's, having to hope for good luck there, which he got.
And I'm disappointed he's not taking fire strats.
We've seen some pause buffering from him before, so it's definitely something he's familiar with.
Yeah, he might have just walked a little bit too far, not knowing exactly what tile the next set of monsters would appear on. And we've got Kingdahl.
Back to the statue.
Back to the statue.
He's out of magic, out of life, and doesn't want to take a death.
And once again,
the double jar is actually really good now.
Yeah, he needs to cast life twice here, so he's going to be completely out of magic. And the double jar, still not actually full up on magic, but that's close enough.
Close enough. It's enough for that should be enough for jump and reflect, assuming he doesn't want to take the last intentional death.
And at Magic 4, Reflect only costs 3 bars, so he can definitely cast Jump, Reflect, and probably Shield. Assuming he doesn't get hit by this bubble too many times. Meanwhile, Solefad is going through the hidden town of Kasuto. Picked up the spell. Went to the end of town. Using the spell to reveal this hidden building to pick up the magic key.
Naturally, that's what spells do. The spell would do that.
And now he'll be going back to the beginning of town to pick up the final magic container, which requires you to have picked up the other 3 magic containers beforehand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And interesting, she doesn't let you in without having 7 magic containers. What's even worse is that for actually gaining spells, it's based on your magic container count. And so if you come in here with only 6 magic containers, not only can you not pick up this magic container, you cannot get the spell, which means you can't get the magic key. Because you require the amount of magic containers as the number of slots you have in your magic list. And so Thunder requires all 8 magic containers, Spell requires 7 magic containers, Reflect requires 6, and so on.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, but you can have 7, but it was like, this is the situation where you don't have 7. Right. Duh. So it's getting late. We've been casting Zelda 2 for a while now. So forgive me. Meanwhile, we got Solefad working his way back through this Tektite cave. Also, no fire strats here, just doing some pogos. If it wasn't for that downstab being able to bounce off enemies like that, I think the fire spell would get a little more use.
Do we see a slink from Solefad? No, he was a little bit late on it. He tried. So the idea is that these monsters, when they spawn close to you, will for just a moment dodge to the right and then back to the left again. And during that time, you can slink right by them if you time it just right. It's pretty tricky, not a very broad window of opportunity to do it. And now he's got the heart, and there's a pretty reliable encounter manipulation to get to Palace 6 from the heart container, which Solefad is doing just right. And now he's into Palace 6.
Meanwhile, we have Kingdahl fighting Karok and already having a worse fight after missing 5 beams.
But still, the okay fight. We've been seeing some really terrible fights today.
Yeah, I'd call that probably maybe even slightly better than average.
It's always fun to evaluate Karok fights, because there's nothing else to do as a commentator during the fight. It's completely random.
Well, we can talk about how random it is. That's always entertaining.
It's random.
We saw Solefad right there using the jump spell to get across that 4-block gap. You can jump across a 4-block gap, but the penalty for missing is you have to fall down 4 screens to get back to where you are again. So that's a bit of a time waste. I would still risk it just because magic is so tight in here. You can't really afford to cast jump in extra time. Because he's done that, he's going to have to get a red jar. He's not going to have enough to cast jump 2 more times, plus fairy 2 more times, plus jump again on Barba with having cast jump right there. So there's a couple opportunities to get a red jar, but he's going to have to hope one of them goes his way. Right there is the pit he's trying to jump over. Goes after the jar and doesn't get it, and he made the mistake of killing that red iron knuckle. That means that that statue is now off limits. He can't get a red jar from it on the way back.
And since he got hit by the skull bubble, even if he casts jump on the way back, he won't have enough for 2 fairies. He can't cast jump on the way back if he wants to make it on this amount of magic.
Yep, what he could go for is the red jar in the falling pit room thing. I don't know what to call it, but there's another red jar he could go after. He might just end up taking an intentional death, though. Yeah, something's going to have to go his way. There's a opportunity to get a blue jar to drop. That may be his other best bet, is to get a blue jar in the Lava Heads room.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you got a 7/8 chance of getting that, and there's enough enemies in there that regardless of where your 6 count is, you can get it. Oh, he had to cast jump because he fell down that pit too, so now even that blue jar's not going to do it for him.
What's worse is that he did get hit by a skull bubble, so let's say he gets a blue jar. He might think he has enough magic to cast fairy twice, but he actually doesn't.
Yeah, he'll be a few pixels shy of it, and sometimes you can't see that by looking at the HUD, but you are actually slightly less than what you need. So this room that he's in right here, I just saw him equip the jump spell. I know he's thinking about it. He's got a 50-50 shot here. He gets a red iron knuckle, so that's really bad for him because now he just invested more magic trying to get it. He goes for his ceiling walk, so I guess that means he's not going to fall down 2 more times and take another shot at that red jar, which is maybe what I would have done if I was this far ahead. He could have had another shot at getting a jar from that statue. And this is the room
You want a death?
Ooh. Or death, yeah. But this is the room where you get a red jar, or a blue jar drop, rather. But at this point, he's already spent so much magic that it's not going to help him.
What Era was saying actually is a really dangerous situation because there's a room, both rooms where you need to cast fairy is a room where if you don't cast fairy, you're going to go somewhere you really don't want to. Either some lava or through a big loop around thing. So if you think you have enough for fairy and you don't, you can get yourself into some really sticky situations.
Yep.
By the way, I believe Solefad is really good on lives because he got the graveyard one up and he only died twice in Palace 4.
Oh, he's only got 1 more life to work with. He's got 2 lives left, but one of them he will be game overing after, so he can die 1 more time and still be okay. But that's not very much of a margin of error.
You definitely would rather not give up that cushion, but some mistakes, just some small mistakes, compounded into this situation, and now he's down a life.
I actually thought he had 1 more than that. Anyway, he had a good reroll neck. Refight.
Yeah, got him off the horse right away. I think that's the mark of someone who's really starting to look at all the strats. I see a lot of players just use sort of the same or similar strats on the Rebanok refights, but he went all out there to try to get the quick kill you can only do with attack 8.
So I would be really surprised if he tried to jackhammer fight here.
It doesn't look like he is. He's doing the normal setup. He will use jump strats, though. And he's doing the safer version of the fight, which is only about maybe 2/3 of a second slower than the less safe jump strats. And a couple seconds slower than the jackhammer strats.
And as long as you don't hesitate at all going into that room, Barber will always do his first spawn on the right side, so you know exactly where he will spawn.
Yeah, I thought that was like sort of the key to the jackhammer. But we had someone recently mess it up, and he spawned on the far side of the room, and they went for the jackhammer anyway.
Still
and
got
it. It was the most amazing thing.
Yeah, that was really unexpected. We were blown away by that. And that time he did remember to equip the fairy spell as at the monument at the end of the palace.
Oh yeah, might have just been a slip of the mind that last time.
Or maybe he's got our stream on and he's heard me rant about it every time we hit the end of a palace.
Oh,
maybe.
good idea.
This final spell of the game, the Thunder Spell, does a lot of damage to all things on screen, but is really expensive. It's also required to make the second to last boss able to be damaged with your sword. If you do not have the spell, you cannot beat the game, unless you glitch.
Alright, not taking any chances here, casting the fairy spell on the bridge. We have seen this bridge almost claim a few lives today, so let's be thankful for fairy spell right here. And we'll probably see it on this next bridge, because I think he's going to go for the red jar and Valley of Death. There we go, straight into fairy, no hesitation.
Meanwhile, Kingdahl has picked up the recorder. He's at full health, almost full magic.
Yeah, he got penned in by some Mago spawns and those unicorn heads sort of, or maybe they're dog heads, but sort of working together. They stopped him in his tracks for a little bit, but he kept his cool and he's still got a lot of health and magic to work with here.
And Solefad is indeed going for the red jar, and he uses that carryover magic refill to cast the spell for free there. So he's still at full magic even after that cast. And he's opting for spell strats all over the place here. Some people might use fairy, I guess. That's a bit expensive, but it's definitely the safest way. Spell is a nice compromise between safety and magic usage. The jump spell also works, but that's a little unsafe. Almost managed to avoid that other encounter right there, but looks like he'll have to do this normally.
I actually think he miscounted because he went right up thinking he got it, and then immediately went to the forced encounter.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, you're right. He wouldn't have done that if he knew exactly, if he had thought that he didn't get it. You're right.
So he sees experience is at 5,600 out of 6,000. That's so he can pick up a very well-timed magic refill through leveling up. Scorpion Max giving him problems.
Yeah, that Scorpion, affectionately nicknamed the Scorpion Max. Very awkwardly positioned. We'll see some people just cast spell there in order to turn that into a bot. And that's a nice safe way to deal with it if you have enough magic to do that. Solefad instead here choosing to use the life magic instead of casting a spell again. And now he's going to skip this blue Lizalfos. I guess because, yeah, he's going to kill the second one. And now he's at 5850, so he needs another 150 to get his magic level 8, which is going to refill his magic. So he can get that off of one of these spicy chickens, which is worth 200. And it's just a matter of which one it'll be.
He also might get it from incidental just killing of the smaller stuff in the palace.
Yeah, 150 is a lot, but sometimes that does happen. Yeah, he's not doing it from the first one. Yeah, if I were him, I would try to get as far in as I can before getting that magic refill.
Meanwhile, Kingdahl,
Go ahead.
yeah, Guma fight here, and he's low on resources, so he's going to be playing it really safe, just doing this shin poke and then retreat combo. But goes a little too aggressive there. Got a little off cycle with his attacks and takes a death there. Hopefully, this doesn't come back to haunt him.
A little bit surprised they didn't use the jump spell there.
I would use jump.
But easy with jump.
Agreed, that's a nice safe way to do it. Jump makes it much easier to avoid getting hit by that mace as you're retreating. He's having a real rough time this time around.
Yeah, it's basically like if he decides to follow you rather than retreat, he gets hit. It looks like doesn't have any way to avoid that hit if that's what Guma decides to do.
Solefad's in a little bit of a pickle. His health is really low. He skipped the spicy chicken that I thought he would probably kill after he got hit a couple of times. First Bird Knight, if he runs into the body of this, he's going to die.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
So there goes his safety life. He no longer has the option to use that to refill his magic later in this dungeon. So he's going to be relying on, some jars, I guess, or maybe grabbing the extra 1-up. We've seen a couple people brave the bots for the 1-up.
Fence skip for Kingdahl. There it is. Gets it.
He still does have the experience magic level up as well.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
He will get that, and he seems to be saving it. He's still got another 110 to go, so maybe he's just going to go get that off the final spicy chicken. He's trying to kill these heads.
He's got now to ferry and save himself some life.
And he gets a red jar, game's being nice to him. Gets a free refill on everything, plus he can cast jump in this next room with the carryover and shield. And this is the pretty tough spot to get through. Let's see how he does with it. Good pattern so far.
Just want this Bird Knight to go as far to the left as he can.
Broke those blocks a little bit too low, but I think he's going to be okay because that Bird Knight just retreated and left him alone. So
very uncharacteristic.
He had a big lead on the Bird Knight, and then when he jumped in the gap, he actually stabbed the Bird Knight and knocked him way to the left.
Oh, nicely done. Kingdahl's going for the safety 1-up. We talked about this earlier. You need to cast jump to get to it, or fairy, I guess. But it is certainly not too far out of the way. Absolutely worth getting in a race if you're down to your last life, because pretty much any game over at this point is going to be really bad for you.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be you just lose. But the last race we saw was rife with game overs all over, and doesn't necessarily mean everything, I guess.
Well, Solefad passed right by the shopping mall there, didn't get a fairy or the 1-up. He's just going to move right on here. And he's got to get some more experience here, so killing the spicy chicken, don't knock it off the screen, man. Very good.
Kill it.
Gets it just before knocking it off the screen, and there is his magic refill. So now he's got magic 8, he's got full everything. He's in great shape. This is his race here. There's really nothing that can go wrong except for just a horrible fight against Thunderbird.
We have seen that today,
Well,
so
yeah,
I'm not going to rule it out. But Solefad has been playing very well, so I'm really not too worried.
With this lead, I'm not too worried about a game over either way.
Yeah, that's true.
Other than disappointment, if he does.
He is 15 seconds behind his PB though. He's been kind of right there most of the way.
Alright, he gets to cast jump, shield, and reflect, and here comes Thunder, the final thing. He's using my strat! Oh, I love it. Glad to see somebody using that early Thunderbird hit.
I thought you were mad there.
No, I'm happy because no one does it. I've been doing it for forever now, and finally I saw somebody do it. There we go. Solefad finishes Thunderbird off.
Easy.
Makes short work. Easily fought Thunderbird there.
He's got
Slight
about
chance of
40
PB
seconds. Here. Yeah, 30 seconds now to deal with Dark Link. It's gonna be close. For reference, the time, his current PB is a 1:24:13.
For the jump strats.
Oh wait, that's on screen, isn't it? That's like they can't see the timer. How will they know? All right, here we go. Being a little trolly, blocking some shots.
He's going for the jump shots though.
Do it.
And he finishes him off at
Loses control. Yeah, he's minus 0.8. New PB. Green split counts. Nice job. Nice job, Solefad.
There we go. 124.12. That is that a PB for him?
It is.
0.8 seconds.
Yeah.
And they were on SRL, right?
Yes.
Are they? I don't think I ever figured that out.
Yeah, they did.
All right.
So I'll hop in here and have a official SRL time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, 24 seconds.
Oh, so he probably had some time there where he was doing
Takes a
something
little time
else
to
and-
dot
Oh, right,
done.
I got a dot done. Oh, shoot.
Then there's the 3 seconds at the very beginning that,
Right.
SRL time is, I guess it's 2.7 seconds, but who's counting? But anyway, congrats to Solefad. But let's
Yeah,
stay
man.
here and
Lay
keep
down
rooting
and-
on Kingdahl.
Yeah, I can even back it up in the. Well, here, let's back up a little bit in the backgrounds so we can go through the last two again and have the joy of 2 more background switches. Kingdahl gets great patterns there from those
and
enemies.
It goes into the pea bag
Yep.
spot.
And then ends up in the P bag. While we're here, may as well grab
500,
that 500.
He does have life 7, so it's actually not a bad idea to
Yeah, maybe
get up
necessary.
just to make sure he gets enough experience.
Well, he did get the heart container skip, as we call it. Got a random
Yep.
encounter right on top of the heart container square.
Not quite as good as Bagoo's skip, but
Bounces on top of the heart container. Did not know you could do that.
Yep, you sure can. And now
You
we're
can
in Palace 6,
you can bounce off of every permanent item like that,
including the child.
including the child.
What? Did the palace go away? I guess it does that.
It does. You gotta blow the flute again every single time you re-enter this thing.
So are you switching back to Palace 5 every time he goes in and
All right, only third try this time. Oh, poor Dan H is doing drinking on IK spawn. That's like the 10th one at least. From
We had a lot today.
drinking water doesn't count, Dan H.
Well, Solefad, for winning this race, gets to move up to the next round here, and he's going to be facing off against Dazzle in the next round of this tournament. And then the winner of Solefad Dazzle is going to go up against the winner of Scavenger 216 versus Pierpont Lemkin.
We're getting into some of the names now, even down in the losers bracket.
Dazzle's
Starting to
a
see some
4th ranked
flashing.
player.
Yep. He was ended up there in somewhat of an upset from, I think it was GTN. You got the bracket up, I guess. But yeah, he was playing very uncharacteristically. Did not seem like quite himself.
Yeah, you lost to GTM, that's right.
So we'll see if he can rally and come back strong in the losers bracket. And it's going to be Solefad, who seems to be playing pretty well during races, except for that soft lock, I guess. But I think that could be a good one.
So Kingdahl successfully jumps over the hidden pit. The room he was just in has a hidden pit. If you fall in it, you have to backtrack a little ways to get back on track. It's a big bummer if you do fall in it.
Oh, Horsehead was, or rather, the Rubenak was a little bit too far off the screen to be able to do down stab strats on. And he gets his 2 hits in. Nice.
So picking up the cross, I don't think we explained what the cross did when Solefad picked it up. There are MOAs at the end of the game. Those are the flying eyeballs that you cannot see without the cross. You can still hurt them, you can still kill them, but they're completely invisible without that. So
Uh-oh, I don't know if Kingdahl realizes, but once you kill that red iron knuckle, he's not going to come back.
nope.
You spent that statue, it's done.
He's finding that out now.
Well, he's going to cast Fairy. I guess when you're all in, you're all in. So now it's going to either be an intentional death, or he's going to have to fall 4 times and get that jar.
Don't miss this jump.
Yeah, no, don't miss. He's really thinking about it. There you go.
All right.
You can get back up there without the jump spell,
Yeah,
but
you have to
it
do
is
an even harder jump to
really
just to
difficult.
get another try at the jump.
Good. A
Where's
little
this
extra
going for an
experience
9K
here. Oh, I see what his strat is. His strat's to earn 3,500 and get this magic
7.
refill. Yeah, magic 7.
Can't kill his robes here.
I am not sure that he's got enough experience coming his way to be able to do that, right? Because
he's got 2 more blue iron knuckles.
2?
There's also the 500 point payback to the left.
He's got 2 blue
On
iron knuckles, so that's
first
300, and he's got a red iron knuckle for another 100, so he's got 400 available to him. He'll still be a little short.
Well, there's also the blue dragon heads.
Oh, he's got the... I forgot about this one. He got this blue iron knuckle. I've never even seen this screen.
There's actually a P-bag to the left on this side of the screen that's 500 points.
Oh, neat. That's, again, I have no idea that this is here.
I think it's 500.
He's not going for either. I don't think he really, is prepared for. Well, no, that third blue one.
He clearly knew what he was doing with that blue iron knuckle that I didn't notice there, so I gotta give him credit.
I was worried that he was totally improvising and he was gonna find out that he didn't have enough experience available to him, but perhaps I wasn't giving him enough credit.
Well, he's got enough experience available to him now if he just kills these floating heads. Oh man, you're making me nervous, man.
Needs 50 more.
He'll get it though. He's got a red iron knuckle coming up.
Yeah.
So even if he gets a P-bag, a red jar...
Well, the red jar...
Red jar would be awesome for him.
Yep.
Just don't get hit by a wish robe.
Oh, they totally just spawned on top of him.
It spawned on top of him. I think he knows it too.
Is he dead?
Is he cast
No,
life?
he's okay.
He totally was trying to open the menu to cast life if he needed to.
He's fine.
Okay, he's okay.
He's okay. But I don't think he can afford to cast life right now. He's got to cast fairy twice and hopefully jump once. Maybe he can do it. He might.
Casting fairy again will not have enough for life, because life is just a hair over 3 bars.
Yeah, it's 3.13 or something like that. It's a lot. Well, I wonder if he's hearing beeping right now. That's always very unnerving, hearing the beeping, especially for long periods of time. It just really starts to get to you. Casting shield, he does have enough for shield. I'm not sure that's going to keep him from dying, but that might let him take 1 hit.
Look how safe he's playing it.
Yep. He played the other one safe too. Oh yeah, the shield did help him. He got hit twice and still lived.
Wow, okay. I thought he was dead for sure that second time.
Yeah, he's on essentially 0 health right now.
Got zombie link strats. No biggie.
Okay. The 4th and final required use of the fairy spell.
Don't fly too low, because if he's too low, I've seen this guy jump in the fairies.
Almost hit him there, my goodness. Alright, here's the jump spell. No point in casting shield, and he's not going to go for the jackhammer. But let's see.
Barber is a pretty safe fight if you just time the fireballs. It's when you start trying to do it really quickly that you take damage on Barba.
Yeah, no need to get fancy.
Yeah, he's gonna try to kill him before the fire. Nope, he misses the hit, so he stops, waits for the fire before he jumps again. Playing it smart. And from the brink of death in a lot of ways, he comes out of Palace 6 here.
Since he did take Magic 7, no huge bonus. He'll be able to take Life 8 here.
Going for fairy strats on the bridge. Pretty good call there. He's not going to get his magic refilled immediately because he's not doing the leveling strats where you'd normally take a magic level here. But I believe he can cast fairy here, and then again on the way back, and maybe a 3rd time on the last bridge, and then he's going to have to go for that red jar.
That's correct.
And we already saw Kingdahl get that swamp one up. There's an optional swamp one up that you can get if things are going badly for you, and he's already picked that up.
So there is a situation where this next red jar actually does not spawn. Let's hope I don't commentator jinx it. But if Kingdahl misses the skip coming up, and then gets it with a large encounter, the jar will not spawn. Has to do with those flags we were talking about earlier. It's kind of a weird one.
I think you can like scroll the screen a little bit to fix it. I think.
Yeah, that's correct. But if he misses it, exits immediately, and then gets a large encounter, no jar.
Yeah, at his level, you know, they got 142 PV. That's the kind of really small minutia that you just don't come across when you're learning a game. So I won't be surprised if he doesn't know about it.
He seems to know. He seems to be pretty knowledgeable. He seems to know a lot about some of the logistical issues of this game.
You're right. He did have that blue iron knuckle. Like that's a nifty little pocket strat that even you didn't know about.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
I'm not giving him enough credit. You're right.
Right, and you know his PB may be 142, but he clearly has studied the game and knows all these things. So yeah, I don't know. I think I would give him credit for it. And right here, oh, he gets the red jar. He was trying to pause buffer his way past that encounter. It's always nice being able to skip one of these encounters, but it very seldom happens.
Yeah,
And he does have 2 lives left, so...
He has 2 lives left, so he's in good shape. He gets the second encounter skip, no problem.
Is it 3 or 2? He's got 3. Every time he opens the menu, there's 3. That's the 0.
It says a 3, yeah, so he can die 3 more times and still be in the game. That's a 0-based number when it shows your life there in the menu. When it shows your life after a death, that's 1-based.
Yeah. Which is really confusing, actually. But...
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. That's an odd choice. Scorpion Max trolling really hard today. A bunch of fireballs. Just not even giving him a chance.
I believe there's like a 1 pixel jump that lets you get through him really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, there's a slightly easier version where you jump earlier and you can come down and land on him and then slide past him. That's got a bit more leeway to it. But honestly, I say just use the spell there or just hesitate for a moment. Is he taking intentional death? What is he doing there?
And now he's sandwiched between these two.
Oh, he's not gonna... Oh, he is gonna make it. That was really tense.
Well, it seems to be his style here to just live life on the edge. So
He works best with beep strats.
Yep.
Yeah, he's keeping us on the edge of our seats. Well, now this is going to be interesting. I have a feeling we might see a death in this first room here, but I don't know.
Life 8 will protect him from the spicy chicken.
Maybe you can cast Reflect to block all these... Oh my god. That was really good.
Just whoop.
I wish I could do it that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went right through that. That was an excellent bypass there.
I'll have to pay attention to that. If spicy chicken's that far forward, you could just down stab right through him.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't take the alternate route to the palace. I'm slightly sad.
Yeah. That's right. There's a totally different way you can go through this palace, not the way you intended. In fact, you're not even supposed to be able to get through the palace that way. But there's a spot where you can get bumped up onto the ceiling. Oh no, Kingdahl takes a pretty slow death here. He's got to walk all the way back. But anyway, there's a spot where you can get to that's very close to the end of the palace, and then you damage boost or you bounce off an enemy to end up on the ceiling, and that lets you do sort of a wrong warp that gets you back to the correct path you're supposed to be on. And it's a slightly slower strat, which is why you don't see people doing it normally. I don't know, maybe for tasks it might be faster, but I know that no one seems to like that for real-time runs.
I believe I saw a theory task done by Boat 60 that timed it out, and the alternate route is 2 seconds faster,
Yeah, the task, the
but
actual...
also considerably harder.
Right, yeah, the task, the no left plus right task, which is the most equivalent to the way real people play, does go the alternative route, but I was unsure if that was just done for purposes of being fancy or if that really is faster, but I guess it is faster. Well, so far so good. He's got a shot at a red jar coming up here at the end of this room. He doesn't really need it, but I'm sure it'll be very helpful to him if he manages to get it. 50-50 shot, and there it is. He's got it. Oh, man, cast life. Oh, he did it just in time. Once your magic bar reaches full after hitting that red jar there, it's too late for you to cast a spell and use your leftover magic.
It was really cute leaving that block there for the bot to just go right over. Oh no, but he took too long.
Wow, some creative
Taking the
block
scenic route through the blocks.
Yeah, people generally
It's
don't...
interesting that the...
Go ahead.
Oh, I see what he's doing.
Wow, what a weird strat. I've never seen this before. Is he trying to spell something in these blocks? Now what's happening?
He's trying to get him trapped in the blocks.
He's trying to trap him. Wow.
It's kind of devious, really.
What is
everyone? We always like hype up how strong these bird knights are. They're relentless. They'll jump. They'll follow you. They're faster than you. And he's just gonna set up a trap here and lure him in. Oh, almost. Do it. Yes.
Wow.
Got him.
That was pretty fun. Well done.
Damn.
So there is actually a safe strat for killing that blue bird knight.
There is absolutely a safe strat. That is the best thing I've seen all day.
We call that the zoo strat.
The zoo.
Just keep him in a cage.
Taking Scott Pico to the zoo.
Trapped equals drink. Poor Dan.
And of course he gets a bad pattern from this bird knight, but he gives us a little taste of the jackhammer. Show how easily with attack 8 you can kill those things if you get them trapped in a low ceiling area.
Killing them out of spite. Unfortunately, the Thunder Spell doesn't actually kill them in one hit. I think you actually still have to hit them like 3 times with your sword. It like takes 2 Thunder Spell casts and a sword hit to kill a blue bird knight.
And he's past the last actual enemy. The rest of it should be pretty easy from here on out. I think because he's got so many lives, he's probably going to take an intentional death here. He's not. He's just going to move on and go for it. Nothing to lose at this point. With Magic 7, though, I think he's probably not going to be able to cast all the spells he wants to. He's going for the red jar. That's his plan.
He can't even cast Thunder at this point.
It's 100?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 100, so it's a little bit short on that.
So Thunder's something like 6 bars, and he's at 5 right now.
Try again. He does get it. Gets a cast of the life spell. Nice.
Breaking the blocks in the right order, too. We've seen people with much faster times making that mistake.
I've also seen the mistake before where they break that last block too close to it and take an immediate hit. You want to be at basically max distance.
So what I'm kind of picking up here is that Kingdahl is kind of more like a student of the game. He's learned a whole lot about it and just kind of hasn't put the time in to transfer that into sort of his hands on execution.
Yeah, he's picked up this game relatively recently, I would think, and I bet if we were to check back his PB a month from now, we would see it considerably lower.
Pretty good Thunderbird fight. Has great health. So Dark Link should not be a problem. Dark Link is a unique boss in this game, in that your attack level does not matter and how much damage you do to him. So he could do. So this fight's pretty easy at all levels if you stand in the corner.
And he's going to do the crouching strats. That's the way I still do it. I'm just most comfortable with the timing of the crouch stab rather than the standing stab. And a very nice Dark Link fight, very cooperative, finishing with a 144.47.
Yep, not a PB, but he's actually saving over a minute 15 on that split. So that was a really good Great Palace for him. I guess Scott Beagle is not always so willing to get into the cage.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta coax him in there. Well, that was a really cute ending to our Zelda races for today.